Pedophilia in Islamic society, preacher Zakir Naik's reply sparks backlash. So, controversial Islamic preacher Zakir Naik sparked outrage after a video surfaced of him dismissing a Pashtun girl's concerns about societal ills, including pedophilia, during a public gathering in Pakistan. The girl asked why evils like pedophilia persist in strictly religious communities, but Nyack interrupted her, denying her claims and stating, quote, "There is no mention of pedophilia in the Quran or any Islamic scripture." He accused her of defaming Islam and demanded an apology from her merely for asking the question. The exchange ignited a backlash on social media, with critics accusing Nyack of gaslighting and silencing the girl. One Twitter user remarked her question makes 100% sense. Saying that she should be sorry for asking such a question is crazy. Nayak, who is a fugitive who is wanted in India for money laundering and hate speech, has faced similar criticism before, with his visit to Pakistan drawing condemnation from the Indian government. So let's give a little bit of background because we've had a lot of people who are like new kind of to our community, our channel, and they might not know who Zakar Naik is. And boy, do I have a treat for you. Okay. So Zakir Naik, for those who might not know, is possibly one of the largest preachers in the entire world. He has a massive, massive following. He has a massive Islamic media network. And he was a preacher who was born in Mumbai and has traveled all the world. And now he lives in Malaysia because he is wanted by the Indian government for crimes. He fled because of his crimes, okay? So he is wanted for money laundering and hate speech. And this the funny thing about Zakir Naik, yeah, Dia saying he's tough to understand. He's also known for his like very thick accent to the point that because um Indians speak English in a very accented way, but that is the way that they speak English correctly to them, right? But his accent is such that even English speaking Indians that I know are like, I have a hard time understanding. But he has a very specific like voice. It's kind of weird and these funny mannerisms. If you guys want some like really good comedy, our friend Vidu Vids is famous for his impressions of Zakir Naik. Um, and Vidu Vids has the funniest impressions of Zakir Naik. I think he didn't he make a song as Zakir Naik? He did.
I'm
Um,
sure he did,
yeah.
yeah.
So just this guy is kind of little bit of a joke, right? Especially to ex-Muslims. He's a huge joke. But at the same time, we have to recognize that he is genuinely one of the most
He's
influential preachers around the world. He has a massive following and
still
network.
huge, huge. Like we don't hear
Huge.
about him as much as before, but his audience is still massive. Like for example, he's 10 times larger than Sam Harris, for example, in audience size. So like this is like imagine your greatest English speaking streamers, right? He's 10 times bigger than them. That's how big his audience is. But yeah, go ahead.
Um, so so the I'm saying that because I want people to understand that he is genuinely very influential, right? In like case you don't know, but then to especially the ex-Muslim community, he's like a running joke because he also doesn't come across very intelligently, to be honest. And there's instances where you can catch him in like misunderstandings. So that's enough context. Um, and so here's the thing. He lives in Malaysia, but he has been invited, I think, on like a state tour to Pakistan. And he has been in Pakistan for some time now. He's saying people still recommend him to me, though, so I will convert. It's gonna take a lot more
Yes.
than that, hopefully, D.
Yes. Which is actually very insulting. So, serious Muslims, serious like Muslims that follow scholars, kind of find that offensive, right? Because Zakir Naik is the number one person that will get recommended to you to convert to Islam. And there's two communities of people in the Muslim world that hate that: the Dawa boys and the scholars, right? Because within Islamic standards, there are serious, I mean, we don't consider them serious, but within their standards, there are some serious scholarly work that Zakir Naik is below that. And within the Dawa community, there's a lot of effort in marketing tactics that Zakir Naik is below that as well. So it's a, for them, they don't understand why is this guy's video being recommended the most, given that the Dawa boy do a lot more better marketing, and the so-called scholars of Islam are so much more knowledgeable about the nuances of Islam than Zakir Naik is. So that's something that the Muslim community, some people in the Muslim communities are jealous of. But yeah, go on.
Yeah. Um, and so basically he was on a state visit in Pakistan. Um, and a lot of people are seeing this as like a little geopolitical thing against India, literally, because I'm like, you have a someone who's a fugitive and like low key almost like a terrorist. So, anyways, so he's been doing these big public speaking events. And what he's kind of famous for is being on stage and having people come ask him questions openly on stage. He does this format, kind of almost town halls a lot. And there were this instance with this question that came out. So this woman comes up to him and asks him. She's clearly from a Pashtun area of Pakistan, and I found the video and it had automatic subtitles that were not the best. So I'm gonna do my best to relay what she asked, right? But I don't know how accurate the translation was. So basically, she comes up to him and she's like, "Hi, I have a question to ask of you. So I live in a very, very Islamically conservative area. We do everything according to Islam. The women don't leave the house unless they have to. The men are very strict. We, do everything. We, do salah, blah, blah, blah. We live in a very, very strict, very rigorously Islamic area." And then so she's basically like, but my question is, when I see my community basically becoming more conservative, why am I seeing horrible things also growing? She's like, I'm seeing a rise in drug abuse and I'm seeing a rise in pedophilia. And she's saying the pedophilia is very, very common. I see it everywhere. It's growing. And I see it be the cycle continuing, because what happened to one person will they will then replicate upon another. And she's saying, she's basically asking, like, how is this possible within a very strict Islamic society? And um so Zakir Nayak responds to her by just kind of blasting her, and he doesn't actually answer her question. What he does is he berates her. And he berates her because he's basically like, your question is wrong to begin with. You don't even understand. He basically denies that her question is valid, Armin, get this, because you cannot be a PDF file and a Muslim. So basically, he's saying that he says multiple times when answering her, no, this is a contradiction. It does not exist. Saying it does not exist because you cannot be Muslim and engage in pedophilia. Where do you see this in the Quran? You're defaming Islam. How dare you? You need to apologize for your question. Da 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 da. Da.
Hmm.
So he
I
does
mean,
not
that's
even.
not
He
true.
does. It's not. Of
I mean,
course, it's not true. Of course, it's not
I
true.
mean, I mean, Zakir Naik. I mean, again, I'm not gonna go over the definitions of pedophiles. I call them child, uh, molesters instead of pedophiles. I'm not gonna get picky about the definitions today, but he says a Muslim doesn't do that. Zakir Naik agrees with the Muslim belief narrative that Muhammad had sex with Aisha when she was consummate intercourse with Aisha when she was 9 years old. Like Zakir Naik doesn't deny that. He agrees with that. So he says no Muslim will do that, but he also agrees that Muhammad has done that. So I don't understand. I
No,
don't
this
understand.
goes to show their understanding of it, right?
Right. Hmm.
Like, oh no, no, that's not pedophilia. That does not happen as pedophilia. Like that's it's incongruent. That's
Hmm.
what's so interesting to me because like Zakir Naik is someone that promotes child marriage. Like there was an instance on this same trip when he was in Pakistan where he was on stage and they were going to go receive an award and they were going to present him this award. And he's standing on stage and then they invite a group of like 15 girls on the stage. They're probably like 13 years old. They're all wearing hijab and they invite these girls on stage to take a very normal photo of him with his
Hmm.
award, right? It's like, oh, a photo opportunity. Okay, I'm gonna receive this award and take the picture with these kids, these girls. He walks off stage without receiving the award because these 13-year-old girls who are unmarried come close to him and he refuses to take a picture with them. These girls are like 12 or 13.
Suggesting that they are sexually viable partners. If he's refusing to take pictures with 12-year-old girls, Islamically, that means that that they're viable for having sex with. That's what that says Islamically.
Exactly.
Right. Right.
Exactly. But to him, the mental gymnastics is that no, no, no. You cannot be a PDF file and a Muslim. So the question is wrong. It's a contradiction. How dare you apologize? And
Mm.
oh yeah, D, I'll get into that in a second. Let me highlight that or star it.
Started.
So
Yeah.
there was what's been very interesting for me to watch Armin is I don't have access to the internet in Urdu or Pashtun. Those aren't languages that I speak. But a lot of people in Pakistan speak English or some degrees of English, right? And I've been seeing online huge backlash, at least on the kind of English speaking side of things, huge backlash to Zakir Naik and all the stuff he's been saying on his Pakistan state trip.
From the
Massive
Muslim
backlash.
community. We're not
Yes.
talking about
Within
we're
the
not talking
Pakistani
about the
community.
anti yes, guys, we're not talking about the anti-Islam community backlash. The Muslim world is reacting to why what's
Well,
happening.
this instance where this girl asked him this question about pedophilia went down very poorly. If you go look at this video on YouTube, the comments are filled with people being like, "This was not fair to her. This is disrespectful. This is a very serious matter that we have in our society. We need to address it. This is not made up. This is not something that she's just making up to defame Islam. Like he was disrespectful to her. Like this wasn't." They're blasting him. The reason why I
Mm.
found out about this instance was because he was being blasted. And then there was another instance recently where he was on a TV show and they were talking about women. And basically, he was just saying that, oh, like single women need, if they're starting to get too old for marriage or whatever, they just need to become second wives and not be public property. And this also sparked huge backlash online amongst the Pakistani community. And there was even people who were like, India's going to the moon, and instead we get Zakir. They were pissed. And so I can only communicate to our audience a very small sliver of what the conversation is like in Pakistan, right? Because I don't speak Urdu. And a lot of these other videos, like I wanted to show you guys the video of him having that conversation about the single women and second wives, da da da, but I can't find it at least with English subtitles. So I can only kind of like observe through osmosis. Um and yeah, Islamabad. Islamabad here in our live chat is saying exactly. He was put down by Pakistanis. It's a first. They were pissed. There was this huge backlash. And what's so funny to me, or very interesting, I should say, is there were a lot of people who were saying, like, wait a second. They were kind of reflecting back to the outrage. They're saying, wait, we've like they're like, I don't know about you guys, but I have known for a long time that this is what the Quran says about women. Like, why are you guys acting shocked when he says it? Why are you guys suddenly acting like outraged when he's saying it? Like we've known this. And it that kind of um like questioning of the backlash was also very interesting to me. Kind of this second, not exactly second guessing, but kind of like, well, wait, why are you guys surprised? Why are you outraged? We've always known this. Like this isn't new.
Can,
I understand he's getting smokes from all sides.
can we listen to it, the tone of the girl? I just want to see how the question was.
एंड स्पेसिफिकली pedophiles जो कि
No,
बच्चों को
start from the
मैनिपुलेट
very
कर लेते
beginning.
Oh, look, she said pedophile. Oh, hold on.
होता जा रहा है, बढ़ता जा रहा है एंड स्पेसिफिकली pedophiles जो कि बच्चों को मैनिपुलेट कर लेते हैं.
Bache, I know what bache means. Bache means child. Hold on.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर, मेरा नाम पलवशा है एंड आई एम फ्रॉम लकी मरवत एंड सर फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह एंड थैंक यू सो मच कि आपने.
So she's saying Alhamdulillah. She's like a proper Muslim. Like she's saying Islamic things, thanking God. So, but
एंड सर फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह एंड थैंक यू सो मच कि आपने मौका दिया है क्वेश्चन का. सर मैं जिस जगह से बिलोंग करती हूँ सर वहाँ पे, पार्डन माई उर्दू प्लीज़, मैं पश्तो स्पीकिंग हूँ सर. तो मैं जहाँ से बिलोंग करती हूँ.
All right, so we got enough of that. I don't want, because people don't know what she's saying. I just wanted to see what the attitude was like. I want to see how he responds.
Pedophiles को.
Pedophiles को. What? I like
हमारे उलमा इनको कॉल आउट क्यों नहीं करते स्पेसिफिकली pedophiles को?
इनका सवाल है कि उनके माशरे में जहाँ से वो आती है वो ख़वातीन बहुत इस्लामिक ख़वातीन हैं, वो घर के बाहर ज़रूरत के बिना बाहर नहीं निकलती. मैं भी घर के बाहर ज़रूरत के बिना नहीं निकलता हूँ.
Oh, so what he was saying there is she was like saying, oh well, women don't leave the house unless if it's necessary for them to, unless they have to. And what he starts out with saying is like, oh well, I'm a man and I don't leave the house unless it's necessary, da da da. And so he's like making a joke, like like look at her, like it's so dismissive.
Okay. I when I see him speak, all I can think of is our own video. I don't know why. Should we? I have 3 videos of video vids. I don't know if you guys want to watch it. So
No,
this is our guys. Go subscribe to Video Vids channel. So this is our video vids. He has a channel. He used to make fun of Zakir Naik. Let's watch it.
Wait, pause for a second.
To ask the question.
This is a good introduction for people that don't know who Zakir Naik is, and because this is how things go, especially when he's speaking in English.
Right. So
my child goes to nursery, and he's been learning nursery rhymes like Jack and Jill. I just wanted to know if it is permissible in Islam to learn nursery rhymes. Thank you. The brother asked a very good question. He said, is it permissible to learn nursery rhymes at school? Brother, I tell you, if you're alive, like you said, Jack and Jill, in the book of nursery rhymes, chapter 5, verse 2, lines 1 to 2, it says, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Now, why were they going up the hill alone? Once a boy, once a girl. And we know in Islam that it is not permissible for the two genders to intermingle freely. So for these reasons, brother, we cannot promote these values in our culture. To give another example to the brother, if you look at the book of nursery rhymes, chapter 2, volume 3, verse 1, line 1 to 2, it says, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. If we look at the second line, how I wonder what you are, this is referring to horoscopes. And in Islam, we know that it is completely impermissible to look at horoscopes. We put our trust in Allah. And to give a final example, brother, if you look at the Book of Nursery Rhymes, edition 5, volume 3, chapter 5, verse 2, lines 1 to 2, it says, "This little piggy went to the market." Now, brother, why is the piggy in the market? If we can't even eat the meat of pork, what is the piggy doing in the market? You want to go to Sainsbury's, buy some rice, and you see a piggy next to you. How is it promoting Islamic culture? How are you going to raise your children? But for these reasons, it is completely impermissible to learn Nursery in Islam. What? I hope this answers the question.
Here's the thing, is that is barely a parody of how his things go. Especially with like these giant leaps that he'll take. Oh my god, so funny.
I have 2 more. I don't know if you guys want to watch it. I have 2 more videos. Should we watch them or should we move on?
Let's get a taste.
All right, should I do is yoga halal or 2 + 2 plus churches? Should I do yoga, the yoga one, or
I think yoga. I remember this one.
Okay, so asking Zakir as Naik if yoga is permissible. So this is.
Assalamu alaikum, doctor. I'm a Muslim and I like to exercise because I want a six-pack. But recently I've been doing yoga and a lot of my Muslim friends tell me that you can't do yoga as a Muslim. I want to know what you think. Thank you.
The brother asked a very good question. He said, "Is it permissible in Islam to learn yoga?" Brother, let me tell you that you cannot have a six-pack in Islam because it is too similar to a six-pack of beer. So either you have a 4-pack or you have an 8-pack. But to your question, brother, yoga is completely impermissible as it promotes Hindu philosophy and ideology. So how can you say, as a Muslim, I want to learn yoga? Yoga encourages humans to behave like animals. If we look in the books of yoga, chapter 5, verse number 33, it is clearly mentioned downward dog, upward cat, sideways fish, holy cow, and king cobra. Allah made you a human being. He gave you respect, and now you want to imitate the animals. Today you will be doing downward dog, but tomorrow you will be barking like a dog and urinating under a tree. Secondly, in the book of Yoga for Beginners, volume 3, chapter 1, verse 32, page number 5, it is clearly mentioned that when you do yoga poses, you have to say Om. Now let me ask you a question. If it is an exercise, why do we have to praise Hinduism? Did you ever see Arnold Schwarzenegger say Jesus Christ, when he's doing push-ups? Why do I have to do it? It doesn't make sense. Any exercise that associates partners with Allah is haram. And brother, my last point is this, that if you go to a yoga class, what you will see? You will see men and women in the same room posing like animals in very tight clothing, yoga pants, exposing their flesh and intermingling. You have one brother here doing downward dog, and over there you have an auntie doing upward cat. How can this be permissible? This yoga encourages intermingling and promiscuity. Brother, the best exercise is salah, is to pray. Islam has all these solutions for humanity. If you want a good body like mine, then do salah 5 times a day with a weighted vest. This way you will have an 8-pack like me. I hope that answers the question.
Guys, go check that channel. We do this. It's pretty good.
Oh,
There's
this
more
made
there.
me miss him so much. I'm hopefully gonna go see them this spring.
We should see some of the comments people left about this. Dee highlighted some comments. So you want to read the comments? Okay.
Yeah, so one person responding to basically the way that this girl was treated by Naik was saying, this is the kind of humiliation that prevents students from asking questions in class. It's very true because his instinct
So,
was just to berate her.
yeah. And then there's this one.
Um,
Oh.
This person was pissed at the question. You have low intellect. You shouldn't have come to Pakistan with your rubbish. Get lost.
Oh wow, this person actually doesn't like the question. Okay. And oh, that's it.
Oh,
Yeah,
and then
that's
this last one. Yeah. And see, Pakistanis were not happy about this. There's India invites investors and industrialists. Pakistan invited Zakir Naik. The difference. Bro.
Oh my god. Oh, people were not happy. Okay.
They were
Okay.
not
that's good.
happy. I think he might still be on his tour of Pakistan or whatever, because I keep on seeing more things coming out, and I don't know, at least what I see, it's not looking good.
Yeah. Yeah.
The people are not happy.
I mean, a lot of people. I mean, he fills up. He gathers a big audience wherever he goes. But some people in our live chat were pointing out, and I noticed as well, that his YouTube views are down. Like even though he has,
Mhm.
but I don't know how people consume his content
In English or
like
Urdu?
they just share.
Or Hindi?
That's a good question.
I bet he has
Actually, that's a
different
good
channels for different languages.
Yeah, you're right. Like here, maybe his English audience is down, but his Urdu is up. Is still up. So see, a lot of people just like he has a lot of views by people just sharing it not on his channel. Like he's not actually making money from all of the views that he's getting because it's not like it's just being shared everywhere online. But his own channel is not doing very good. So poor guy. Okay.
One thing that I want you to touch on, Armin, because it's kind of like, actually, this is the better thing. I would like Mufti Armin to answer that girl's question.
Right. Oh, okay. So here's the thing. Islam, when it comes to sexual relationships, the age is not the concept of the idea of it's being morally permissible to have sex with children below a certain age is a completely modern liberal understanding of morality. This is completely new. Islam has its own set of standards that age is not even wasn't part of the question until modernity made it an issue. When it comes to it being permissible to have sexual intercourse with somebody or not, it's just the Islamic standards. It's whether you have done nikah, like Islamic nikah, and a lot of people translate the nikah to marriage. It's not, marriage is not a really good translation for it, because technically that's what you also do with sex slaves, and I wouldn't consider nikah. It just means like you do the things that you're supposed to do to make it your sex with a person Islamically permissible, right?
It's a contract.
And yeah, it's like a contract, yeah. It's either with your wives or your sex slaves, right? And you could do it with either one of them, even though your wives are in a much higher position compared to your sex slaves. You could beat your wives just like you can beat your sex slaves, but the thing that you cannot do to your wives is that you cannot sell them, you cannot give them to other men, and also you have with your wives you have entered into a relationship with the family of the wife, and so you value the family of the wife. But with the sex slaves, they are basically just like completely just like commodity, right? But either way, when you are enter a sexual relationship with your slaves or your wife, you have to like recite certain verses, you have to do certain things Islamically for that sexual relationship to be permissible. So given that the Western world or the modern world considers sex with children to be not permissible, and they call it like child molestation or PDFL or whatever, Islamic scholars, they say that is not allowed in Islam, but what they mean is that we have redefined PDF file or child molestation as only if you do it outside the framework of marriage, right? So from a Islamic scholar perspective, if they want to refer to child molestation or pedophilia, they will say they say we don't allow that. And what they mean we don't allow that, it means that we only allow that if you do it within the Islamic framework. If their family allows it, for example, yes, a child, if the family allows it, and if you enter a marriage, Islamic marriage, again, I don't call it marriage, they call it marriage, nikah. If you enter a marriage contract with the child, in that case, if you have sexual relationship with it, you might call it child molestation. But we say that Islam doesn't allow child molestation because we don't consider this child molestation. That's how they get around it.
Funny how that works.
Yes. It's basically committing a crime, but acting like you don't commit a crime by redefining the crime.
Yeah. We got Kenny just gifted 5 Atheist Republic memberships. Thank you, Kenny. That's so generous. Thank you for supporting
Thank
the
you.
channel. And Bull McLeod is saying, "Hey, Sugar Daddy Kenny has just made me a member again." I can't remember what this person's name is. I
Sarah.
think it's Sarah.
And
Yeah.
she's a volunteer now. And she's a volunteer for
Oh,
comment
that's so
highlights.
cool. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank
Saying it sounds
We
like
have
marriage
two
in
Sarahs. We have 2 Sarahs in our team now. An Iranian Sarah and an Israeli Sarah.
Hell yeah.
Mm.
Hashtag unity. So Sarah is saying it sounds like marriage in Islam is less about love and more about transferring property to different owners. And Abdullah Samir has some really, really good videos about this because there's many different kinds of these arrangements. And he's been putting out a lot of amazing content recently about what happens to women when they get divorced and how they are approached because they are single mothers to become like these special kind of Islamic relationships where contractually like you can become like a secret wife basically without this standard Islamic benefits of becoming a wife. And then also how women are treated basically just as useless and throwaways, and the only thing that they're worthy of is becoming a second or third or fourth wife, and it's just openly propositioned to people. I really like he has put out some really good work criticizing how this just makes everything just a contract, and how he criticizes them basically saying Muslims talk as if they raise marriage to this very high standard, but when you get into the details and you start to look at these different kinds of practices and these different arrangements, which are all halal, it becomes legalistic, it becomes extremely contractual, it becomes extremely transactional. And he's saying that is lowering the status of marriage. Yeah, so I really admire his work.
Yeah, guys, Abdullah Samir, make sure you follow his work. He's really knowledgeable about Islam. But to be fair to Islam, okay, Sarah, to be fair to Islam, back in the day, that's what all marriages were, right? The problem with Islam or religion is that it brings the standards of that time to now. So this idea of marriage being about love and romance and partnership, that's a modern concept. It didn't exist. I mean, you know, it was a romantic, like Shakespeare and people like that, they, you know, poets and stuff, they made it more eventually. This whole loving romantic relationship became the norm. But it wasn't even, yeah, I mean, it wasn't the norm. It did exist before in ancient times, but it wasn't the norm. Marriage was about just like what we see it in Islam today. However,
how will my marriage strengthen my alliance with France?
Yeah, and I mean, even among the common folks, marriage was about just, you know, not about, it wasn't about love and romance and stuff like
alliance of clans.
Yes, exactly. The problem is that Islam doesn't let Islam makes these ancient values remain with us today. Like like modernity and liberalism wants us to move past that and become better. Islam brings those values from the past and tries to make it apply today and doesn't let us progress out of it. Yeah. Anyways. Oh, no, I wanted to address another comment, but we're going to get very off topic.
Oh, Houston is asking if marriage is about alliances, then why so much cousin marriage? Because that is the alliance.
That's the alliance. Actually, that makes more sense.
It depends on the culture, because certain cultures practice cousin marriage different ways. But it's because also tribes are also oftentimes in clans very, very extended, and there can be clans within the clan, right? It's a function of people to be able to bring someone from further out in their family circle into the patrilineal line more closely. And it's a way to keep wealth within a family because of certain ways in which Islam and traditional understandings of Sharia make inheritance difficult. It's a way to help keep the wealth within the tribe. That's a very, very broad, simplistic explanation. It's a lot more complicated and deep than that, but that's kind of a general understanding. Ladies, my flock of sheep is enormous. Just saying. Zaid, Habibi, say less. Say less. You know, some girls are looking for that Bugatti. Okay, I'm asking, how healthy is your flock of camels? Can you give me 1,000? Can you give me 1,000 red camels?
1,000 red camels. That is too much.
1,000 red camels. I know my worth.
Okay.
No, Armin, when I first started Atheist Republic, and like you remember when I used to be flooded with like very, very freaky DMs by Muslim dudes?
Right.
There were guys literally being like, "Oh my God, I will give you 1,000 red camels."
Really?
Like in my DMs.
That's funny. Okay.
It was a wild time. Yeah. It was a wild time.
1,000. Guys, 1,000 red camels is actually almost impossible to achieve. I don't think even the greatest princes in South red camels are rare, right? Like really rare.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes. Aisha's camel.
I don't settle.
We should see that. What are your chances? That's like one. Like it's not even 1% of men. That's like 1,000 red camels. That's like I don't think that there's anybody that has 1,000 red camels. Are there even 1,000 red camels in the world? I mean, I'm kidding. I get turned out.
Yeah, if you know, you know that's a big deal.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Okay, can we clap for the next news? Oh, this is wild. This is crazy.
Oh, wait, I just had a memory about my boyfriend told me about this time that his family went to Cairo, and his younger sister was 15 years old at the time, and multiple times throughout their trip, his dad was propositioned by full-grown, like adult old men to basically give him camels to marry their like 15-year-old daughter.
Wow.
Yeah. Like that was their impression of Egypt. They were like just living their life, trying to go see sights, and people like just coming up to his dad being like, "So can I give you like 100 camels for your daughter?" And they were like,
This is a thing that actually still happens in modern times.
Apparently it happened to her.
Your 15-year-old daughter is I find your 15-year-old daughter attractive. Here's 100 camels. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
And they're like, it happened so many times when we were there. They're like, one time is one thing, but like multiple times, what the hell?
Unbelievable. Whatever, YouTube, I wasn't saying that myself. I was that somebody's gonna clip that part. We were do not clip that part, guys. I wasn't saying I have to be more careful how I
Sarah is saying some
anyways.
camels have camel beauty pageants, and they should. I mean, it's like a state fair. You know, you got to show off how beautiful are your camels, how beautiful are your horses. I go to the state fair. I'm checking out the swine, the bunnies. You know, good stock. Okay, I got no problem with that. A camel
To be
beauty
fair,
pageant sounds
camel.
lit.
Yeah, we don't. Okay, when it comes to Arab culture, that's one Arab culture that we celebrate. Okay, the things that we are against, these are Islamic culture. Okay, camels are amazing, and Arabs celebrating their camels, we are all for that. Okay, you know, camels are amazing. I love
Yeah.
camels. Anyways, we should. What? You
It's
saw
like,
some-
what do we talk about? What the hell is happening?
Anyways, we're
Welcome to
expressing
Atheist
our love for
Republic.
camels. Yes.
Wait. Sorry. No, we can't move on.
Actually,
Zane, did you hear about the camel that was disqualified for having lip fillers?
no, send that to us, Zaid. This is
Zaid.
important stuff.
You know
Yes.
where to send it to me, please.
Yes.
Duck face camel.
Also, I think, by the way, guys, and I know Suzy was joking, but separating Arab culture from Islamic culture is part of Atheist Republic mission. So this
Yeah,
is very
I actually
relevant.
have possibly a little bit of a rant about that today.